what does the shaving community mean to you? So nowadays, it's okay. I'll preface this with we have a Canadian Mafia Instagram show. And from that show, we kind of copied you, John. We have a Discord now for fans of
I
the
did not
show.
invent it. You're good.
But that community means a ton to me because I feel like there's three parts that make up that community. A third is obviously the shaving content. A third is support for people's wins, and then a third is support for people's losses. So up and downs. I know that's life, but it always is much easier to digest when you have a bunch of people there to support you. And that's kind of what we were going for. Obviously, the initial plan was to, hey, let's just have a Discord for fans of the show. So when we're on our off week, we can still talk to people. And if they have suggestions for the show, that's where they can put them. Because previously it was just like, yeah, you had all these different communities, people from all places were kind of watching the show, and there wasn't really a way to mass communicate with everybody. So that was the original intention. And then it's just morphed in this like super supportive community of people who I think genuinely care about each other, like for real. And it's gotten to the point where we've met face to face, we've broken bread, and it's been awesome. It's these are people that I have no problem having over to my place. Like for example, we're going to go to Idaho in October, so like in a month. And the plan is for all the guys from Toronto and Thirsty Badger from I think is Winnipeg. They're all staying at my place the day before Chris from Carve comes and picks us all up, and it's gonna be awesome. And then these are guys like from the community, man.
So right. They were previously online only friends that you've since met in person multiple times, some of them, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's because of this. Like we're headed there as a group, and it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna meet a few other people. Northwest Wet Shavers Meetup. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. Yeah, that's just an example of like bridging that offline and online gap. So,
well,
shaving community, phenomenal.
Well, meetups. I was gonna say like meetups, right? Tying into that's where so I got to meet Ben in person back in June, amongst many other folks at the Maggard meetup. And I think meetups are great to further solidify relationships in the shaving community. There was a Northeast meetup. Well, actually, it was like pre-pandemic, and even then, like a year or two before that. That was the first time I met a bunch of people who I interacted with that Facebook group, or even some YouTubers and whatnot. So,
yeah.
That was they're great opportunities. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking because you mentioned the pandemic. Like if one happened now, and everyone was locked down, like I feel like we have a social enough group in Discord to not like suffer the consequences of isolation. And it's a really weird thing to say, but it's like I live in the middle of nowhere, basically. All my friends are in another city, like we're talking, 15-hour drive away. And I don't feel like any of my social needs aren't being met because of these, groups and because of wet shaving.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's crazy to think that, it could get to this point where I talk to you, like you guys more than I talk to like my IRL friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or the lines are much more blurred. Right, because having met people, they are. Who's to say they are not IRL friends at this point?
This past year, that kind of generosity and fear, has really taken off on IG and on Discord. And I could see the trend as to when it really took off, and it was when TRC started coming onto the scene, right? Because previously we had BBS Live with their giveaways, and when they used to spin the fucking thing and then the list of names and the numbers. So back then, we had it, but it wasn't like gangbusters, like it is when TRC came on the scene and like really supported the community, and really started investing in the community and giving away gift cards and just swag, really. And I think if I were to pinpoint a a specific action that led to this new norm of generosity, I think that would be it. And now what we have on our lives is, people would win a gift card, whatever, right? And
Mhm.
then they would give it or like pivot or pay it forward to someone else in the live who they know may be having a rough go in their life currently,
Mm.
or
Sure.
and that's like the next level now because people before used to win, cool, congratulations. Now it's like they win, I don't want it. This person would appreciate this much more. Let's give it to them. Or it's their birthday. Let's and like we had a live where I think it was Carlos's birthday, and like
Yeah,
he's a super generous guy.
he
And
is.
everyone that won something, it all got piffed to Carlos. Happy birthday, right? And I love how that is the norm now. It is just this like generous um, spirit amongst the Instagram crowd on the lives and to a certain extent the discords. And to go back to what we were saying before about established communities, um, I feel like this is a new community with a new norm led by a relatively new store, right? Like
Mhm.
before TRC, there was what? Maggard's, West Coast Shaving, top of the chain. I feel like we're the three big ones. And I feel like the razor companies come in and has taken a lot of market share, at least amongst the enthusiasts from those stores, simply by like establishing this like goodwill reputation, right?
Mhm.
And supporting all these shows and supporting all these projects like Never Alone that just came out. So I'm loving how this is the direction in which at least this part of the community is going, right? And we
Right.
had talked earlier about like why doesn't certain other communities do that? And then we talked about how there's like certain norms that are established, and then that's that part, and that's how they operate, and they attract those types of people. Totally cool, but it's really hard to change people, and it's really hard to change norms. Like, are we going to get a you know like a community that's not generous to all of a sudden start being generous, or is it just easier to start a new community that has that
Mm.
generosity norm built into it, right? So
That's true, and I'm just thinking of other examples where I think that's definitely a phenomenon on Instagram in particular.
yeah.
And I did also want to mention, I think with Instagram, it's a little harder to the community can be kind of a dicey word for Instagram in that
Mm.
it's very fragmented, right? It's a lot of like if you have a group chat there, if you have good buddies that you're DMing with, of course, there's a sense, there's like a looser sense of community because it does, what I mean? There's it's just the way the the
Sure,
user
yeah.
interfaces and whatnot. But the lives are certainly one way where at a given time, especially on a scheduled program like for your show or BBS Live, which is on tonight, you can do stuff like that where kind of these movements and also don't want to shortchange Nate and Mel who kind of spearheaded that and just giving away a lot of things
Oh
from their own
geez.
or own personal collection. So if it's kind of a snowball effect, it's a very good snowball effect. And
Mm.
so, in your opinion, what is the value of the communities?
Yeah, now that we've it's no secret I'm pretty invested in the hobby, but now that we've made this platform or this community on Discord and on IG, like, it's invaluable, man. Like, I feel like if there's any issues that I have so many people that I can talk to. There's so much support. And it's been a rough year, man. Like, few acquaintances have passed.
Mm,
Irene's grandma passed. Our dog passed.
yeah,
So it was a tougher year than most this year. And I've dealt with it, and everything's okay now. But like going through it's kind of shitty.
true.
But
Yeah.
knowing that there's people to talk to and that give you support, and even if it's just like, oh guys, I'm having a bad day, and you get like flooded with messages like, oh no, it's we're here for you, and like that just makes you feel better. So having that, I think, is invaluable for my mental health,
Mm,
straight up, right? So for me, the value of the community that our little corner of the community is invaluable, man. It's so awesome.
yeah. Let me also tackle this question. So, yeah, the
Sure.
value of the communities at this point, especially where I'm not really chasing every new release, it is
Mm,
the connections. It is friendship, and I think that's why like I do spend a good amount of time over on Ben's Discord because of the camaraderie, and I've
Yeah.
really come to know a lot of folks there. Where if you're having a bad day, there are, it's not just one, but there are multiple people who will lend an ear. So again, great, you know, like you said, for mental health, great for just support, group support. I think this is a great kind of broad scope of communities. But
Yep.
yeah, if there's other kind of aspects of this topic that you guys would love to hear, all ears. You know, leave a comment. As I love working with Ben and kind of talking about and taking a closer look at these kind of hobbyist centric, hobby specific, but maybe like not specifically about razors or soaps or anything like that. Clearly it doesn't get, you know, talked about all that often, and I think it's a great topic. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 3,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I think it's totally doable. All right guys, well, you all be well. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time.
Bye guys.
Take care now.